Have you ever stopped to think that what you think is good for your body might actually be slowly weakening you? It's true. Every day, millions of people over 60 eat fruit, thinking they're making a healthy choice. And without realizing it, they're speeding up muscle loss. It's a tough truth, but it needs to be said. There are popular fruits, ones almost every senior eats, that are actually sabotaging your muscles. And the worst part? It happens silently. You don't feel it overnight. But one day you notice it's getting harder to get out of bed. That walking through the grocery store wears you out. That climbing stairs feels like a workout. And then that fear starts to creep in. The fear of falling. The fear of becoming dependent on someone else. That process has a name. Sarcopenia. It starts quietly, but it can destroy your quality of life if you don't do something about it in time. And doing something doesn't mean popping pills. It means understanding what's hurting you and making smarter choices. That's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. The 5 fruits most harmful to your muscle strength. Fruits that seem harmless, some even recommended in popular diets, but can cause inflammation, mess with your blood sugar, and get in the way of muscle recovery. And trust me, the 4th fruit on this list is something almost every senior in America eats, and hardly anyone realizes how much damage it's doing. If you want to stay independent, walk confidently, and get your energy back, you need to watch this video all the way through. I'll show you what to avoid, why to avoid it, and what to do instead. Simple, practical, and science-backed. 1. Watermelon. Watermelon just screams summer. It's fresh, colorful, sweet. It seems like the perfect way to stay cool and hydrated on hot days. And for a lot of folks over 60, it's become a must-have in the fridge. After all, it's light, easy to chew, and tastes great. But here's something most people don't know. And maybe this applies to you too. Watermelon could be quietly draining your muscle strength. The problem isn't the taste, it's what it does inside your body. Watermelon has a very high glycemic index. That means it turns into sugar in your bloodstream really fast. And since it's made up of over 90% water and natural sugar, fructose, it basically hits your system like a sugary drink. Now think about this. Your muscles are already naturally getting weaker with age. That's something we all go through. And then you keep eating a fruit that spikes your blood sugar quickly and intensely. What do you think happens? Your body releases a large amount of insulin to deal with that sugar spike. But over time, all that extra insulin can lead to something called insulin resistance. That slows down your body's ability to process protein, hurts muscle recovery, and increases chronic inflammation in your body. In other words, too much watermelon can be like pouring sugar water on the fire that's supposed to fuel your strength. It doesn't build you up. It slowly drains your muscle energy. But doctor, it's just fruit. How can it be that bad? I get that question a lot. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Because the issue isn't having a slice of watermelon every now and then. The problem is when it becomes a daily habit. When it replaces meals. When you're drinking watermelon juice instead of eating lunch or dinner. I see this all the time with my patients. People who truly believe they're eating healthy, but they're always tired. Their legs ache. They have no energy to walk. And they don't understand why. And when we look at their diet, watermelon pops up multiple times a week. There's also a side effect no one talks about. Silent malnutrition. Watermelon has very few of the nutrients your muscles actually need. It doesn't give you protein. It barely has any fiber. And it's missing key muscle-supporting nutrients like potassium, magnesium, leucine, vitamin D, and slow-digesting proteins. So it fills your stomach, makes you feel full, but doesn't nourish your muscles. It's like giving sugar water to a starving warrior. It calms him down, but leaves him too weak to fight. So should you cut it out completely? Not necessarily. The key is how often and how you eat it. If you like watermelon, enjoy it in moderation. Don't eat it by itself. Always pair it with some protein or a healthy fat. For example, a small slice with cottage cheese, a hard-boiled egg, or a few. Walnuts will help reduce the blood sugar spike and protect your muscles. Avoid eating watermelon on an empty stomach in the morning. Don't use it as a meal replacement. And definitely steer clear of watermelon juice, which concentrates the sugar even more and removes what little fiber the fruit has. Instead, go for fruits that have more fiber, like strawberries, pears with the skin, or blueberries. Pair fruit with a light protein source. And eat fruit after a complete meal. Not when you're fasting. Did you used to eat watermelon often? Share in the comments how you used to eat it. And if you ever felt tired or weak, even though you thought you were eating healthy. If this content is helping you, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We post practical, science-based tips to help you stay strong, independent, and full of life. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next videos. 2. Pineapple. It's tropical, vibrant, and smells amazing. It has a refreshing taste, shows up in fruit salads, desserts, and even makes its way into breakfast for a lot of older adults. But what most people don't realize is that pineapple, despite looking innocent, could be quietly increasing inflammation in your body and weakening your muscles over time. Pineapple tricks your senses, but it can take a toll on you from the inside. Because it's tart and tangy, a lot of people assume it's light, healthy, and even helps with digestion. And yes, it does contain an enzyme called bromelain, which has some anti-inflammatory and digestive benefits, but only when eaten in small amounts and in the right form. The problem is, pineapple is also packed with fructose, a natural fruit sugar, and it's extremely acidic. That combination of acidity and sugar can lead to microinflammations in your gut, interfere with how your body absorbs protein, and throw off the internal environment your muscles need to thrive. So where's the risk? To help you understand, think of it this way. Your muscles are like construction workers. They need materials, protein, amino acids, vitamins, but they also need a clean worksite to build properly. Now imagine trying to build a house on a muddy, cluttered, smoky construction site. Not exactly ideal, right? That's what happens inside your body when you regularly eat foods that trigger inflammation, like too much pineapple. You end up with a biological environment where your muscles can't recover or get stronger. And that's a serious issue, especially as we age and naturally start to lose muscle mass. Have you ever felt any of these symptoms? A burning feeling in your stomach after eating fruit. Muscle aches that won't go away, even when you're not doing much. Frequent leg cramps. Tiredness after simple activities. Regular bloating or stomach discomfort. These could all be signs that your body is dealing with low-grade chronic inflammation, and eating too much acidic and sugary fruit, like pineapple, plays a big role in that. But doctor, isn't pineapple natural? Yes, it is, and it's not poison. But the key is how much, how often, and what you eat it with. The real problem is eating too much pineapple too often, and on its own, especially when you drink straight pineapple juice. When you eat it daily on an empty stomach. When it's served with added sugar or in syrup, which makes things even worse. Another thing I see all the time is people thinking they're eating healthy just because they eat fruit every day. But not all fruits help you build strength. Some, like pineapple, can actually work against your muscles if you're not smart about how you eat them. Silent inflammation and early aging. Recent studies from top universities like Harvard and Stanford are showing that chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the main reasons older adults lose muscle faster. It doesn't cause a fever or any obvious pain, but it wears down your body from the inside, blocks tissue repair, and speeds up muscle loss. Highly acidic fruits, when eaten too often, contribute to this inflammation, especially when they're not balanced with foods that help neutralize The acid. So what should you do? If you like pineapple, you don't have to give it up completely, but you do need to be strategic. Here's a smarter way to enjoy it. Don't eat it on an empty stomach. Have it after a meal that includes fiber and protein. Skip the pure juice. It's concentrated sugar and acid, which can upset your stomach. Pair it with alkaline foods like avocado, oats, or nuts to help balance out the acidity. Limit your intake to 2 or 3 times a week and keep the portions small. Most importantly, listen to your body. If you feel that burning in your stomach, notice fatigue in your muscles, or your digestion feels off after eating pineapple, it might be time to take a break from it and see how your body responds. Do you usually eat pineapple every week? Have you noticed any of the symptoms I mentioned? Let me know in the comments. Your story might help someone else going through the same thing. 3. Peeled apple. It's easy, tasty, affordable, and part of the daily routine for a lot of people trying to stay healthy. Apples are considered one of the healthiest fruits out there, and for good reason. They contain fiber, antioxidants, essential vitamins, and help you feel full. But there's one very common, almost automatic mistake that ends up wasting all those benefits: peeling the apple before you eat it. Maybe it's out of habit, or because you've heard the peel is hard to digest, or just something you've always done. But what you might not know is that when you peel an apple, you're throwing away the part that holds most of the nutrients that actually protect your muscles. The power is in the peel. The peel of the apple is where you'll find insoluble fiber, which feeds your gut and helps your body absorb nutrients. Quercetin, a powerful antioxidant with anti-inflammatory properties. Polyphenols, which improve circulation and fight oxidative stress. B vitamins and vitamin C, both crucial for muscle repair and recovery. When you remove the peel, what's left is mostly sugar, not much fiber. That leads to something most people don't even notice. The sugar hits your bloodstream fast, causing a spike in blood glucose. Your body responds by pumping out more insulin, and that sudden surge can actually interfere with muscle metabolism. Eating peeled apples is like taking a step backward. You think you're making a healthy choice, eating fruit, right? But in reality, you're giving your body very little of what it actually needs. And if you're over 60, every nutrient matters. Every small decision in your diet plays a role. At this stage of life, your body naturally absorbs less protein and gradually loses lean muscle. So removing the most nutritious part of the fruit is like pulling bricks out of the foundation of an aging house. Over time, you'll notice the effects: less energy, weaker muscles, and a higher risk of falls. Your gut feels it, and your muscles suffer. The fiber in apple peels plays a critical role in feeding your gut microbiome, and that's where everything starts. Neurotransmitter production, mineral absorption, enzyme activation, all key to maintaining muscle strength. Without that fiber, digestion slows down, protein absorption drops, and your body starts showing signs like bloating, fatigue for no clear reason, frequent cramps, general muscle soreness, sluggish digestion, or constipation. Are you experiencing any of these symptoms? They might be linked to a diet low in natural fiber. But doc, the peel gives me constipation. That's one of the most common concerns I hear. But in most cases, the problem isn't the peel. It's dehydration and poor chewing habits. If you eat too quickly, drink too little water, and don't get enough healthy fats in your diet, then yes, digesting the peel can become harder. But the answer isn't to eliminate the peel. It's to adjust your habits. Drink more water throughout the day. Chew slowly and thoroughly. Pair apples with foods that support digestion, like oats or plain yogurt. With these small adjustments, your body can finally absorb all the goodness the peel has to offer. And your muscles will thank you. So how should you eat apples the right way? Here are some simple tips to turn apples into a real ally for your strength and health. Always eat apples with the peel. Just make sure to wash them well. Chew slowly to help your body release digestive enzymes. Pair apples with nuts, like walnuts or almonds, or a light source of protein. Choose whole fruits instead of juice. Even fresh juice loses fiber and concentrates the sugar. What to avoid? Eating peeled apples, especially on an empty stomach. Drinking apple juice, whether store-bought or homemade, if it's strained or without pulp. Replacing full meals with just fruit. Yes, you can absolutely keep eating apples. But with just a few simple changes, it stops being just another fruit and becomes a true functional food, one that can protect your muscles, boost your energy, and help you stay independent. 4. Canned peaches. Peaches have a way of bringing back memories. A lot of people grew up seeing them served in syrup at family gatherings, in sweet salads, or as a simple Sunday dessert. Their soft texture and sweet flavor make them seem like a safe, gentle option, especially for people who have trouble chewing more fibrous foods. But what many don't realize is that canned peaches, despite looking harmless, can be a hidden enemy when it comes to your muscle strength. When you open a can of peaches, what you're getting is no longer the same fruit that came off the tree. It's gone through an industrial process that drastically changes its makeup. What used to be a natural source of fiber and vitamins is now soaked in syrup made with refined sugar, corn syrup, and often artificial preservatives and flavorings. These added ingredients turn something that should be healthy into something that attacks your metabolism. The biggest issue with canned peaches is their sugar content. When you eat them, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. That forces your body to release more insulin to deal with the surge. Over time, these constant spikes wear down your system, lead to insulin resistance, increase fat storage, and slow down protein synthesis, which is one of the most important processes for preserving muscle mass, especially after 60. This excess sugar also triggers something called glycation, a process where sugar molecules attach to proteins in your body and start breaking them down. That causes tissue stiffness, muscle weakness, and even joint problems. And it all happens silently, without you noticing. So while canned peaches may seem like a light treat, they actually fuel inflammation and muscle breakdown. Another key issue is that most of the peach's natural nutrients are lost during the canning process. The fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins you'd find in a fresh peach are practically gone. What's left is a fruit with poor nutritional value and way too much sugar, especially for someone who needs to maintain lean muscle. That leads to a common effect. You eat it thinking it's light, but soon after you feel tired, your energy drops, and over time, your overall stamina declines. You might not notice the impact right away, but it shows up over time. Weaker legs, more trouble walking long distances, heavy shoulders, or muscle aches that show up even without physical effort. These are all signs of a slow, silent inflammatory process that gets worse with foods like canned peaches, full of sugar and empty of real nutrition. You often hear things like, "It's just a little dessert," or "It's better than eating cake." But the truth is, for someone over 60, that comparison doesn't hold up. Because at this stage in life, it's not just about cutting back, it's about choosing foods that truly nourish, strengthen, and protect. And canned peaches don't do any of that. If you enjoy peaches, that's okay. The good news is, there's a much better way to enjoy this fruit: fresh peaches. Unlike the canned version, fresh peaches still contain their fiber, vitamins like C and E, and antioxidants that help fight the muscle damage that comes with age. When eaten with the skin, in small portions, they can definitely be part of a healthy diet that supports muscle strength. It all comes down to what you choose. Fresh peaches can be added to a salad with leafy greens, paired with plain yogurt, or served with a spoonful of oats. What matters most is that you eat them in their whole form, without added sugars or processing that strips away their natural benefits. Canned peaches, on the other hand, should be treated like any other processed dessert. And like all sweets, they should be avoided or saved for very rare occasions. They don't belong in the everyday diet of someone who wants to stay strong and independent, because every spoonful of that sugary syrup is a silent blow to your muscles, your metabolism, and the energy you need to live life on your own terms. By making one simple switch, replacing canned peaches with fresh ones, you're already taking an important step to protect your muscles from early breakdown. And remember, after 60, it's not just about what you eat. It's about how each food works inside your body. Small choices can make the difference between losing strength and staying free, active, and full of life. 5. Maraschino cherries. They're small, shiny, and eye-catching. Maraschino cherries are often used to decorate cakes, pies, ice cream, and all kinds of desserts. On the outside, they look sweet and harmless, but on the inside, they hide something. That can be seriously harmful, especially for people who are aging and trying to stay strong and independent. A lot of folks think that because they come from a fruit, maraschino cherries are a lighter alternative to other desserts. But the truth is very different. Unlike fresh cherries, which are rich in antioxidants and full of heart-healthy, circulation-boosting nutrients, maraschino cherries are basically processed candy. What ends up on your plate is a highly altered product with little to no nutritional value, packed with sugar, artificial coloring, and chemical additives. These cherries go through an industrial process that strips away most of their natural compounds. Their flavor and bright color are maintained artificially using chemicals. The soft texture and glossy appearance come from preservatives, dyes, and sugary syrups that only look fresh. But once inside your body, these cherries act just like any other refined sweet. They hit your bloodstream fast, throw off your metabolism, and create an internal environment that promotes inflammation and muscle weakness. One of the biggest problems with maraschino cherries is the amount of high fructose, corn syrup used in their syrup. This ingredient, found in many processed foods, has a direct effect on insulin resistance. In an aging body, that contributes to metabolic imbalances that make it harder to absorb protein and rebuild muscle after physical activity. Over time, this weakens muscles in the legs, arms, and core, making everyday tasks like getting out of bed, walking, or carrying groceries more and more difficult. On top of that, regularly eating maraschino cherries can lead to an increase in fat around your liver and internal organs. This kind of fat, called visceral fat, is highly inflammatory. It releases substances that damage muscle tissue, impair circulation, and create a vicious cycle. Less strength, more fatigue. Less movement, more muscle loss. And all of it can start with the seemingly innocent habit of adding 1 or 2 little cherries to your dessert every day. Another important point: because they're soaked in syrup, these cherries have almost no fiber left. And fiber is essential, not only for blood sugar control, but also for gut health. When your digestion is off, your body struggles to absorb key amino acids like leucine, valine, and isoleucine, all crucial for muscle repair. Without them, muscles can't regenerate properly, leading to ongoing fatigue and gradual loss of tone and strength. Many older adults think it's just a little sweet treat, like it's no big deal. But the reality is that the body doesn't respond the way it did in your 20s or 30s. Every spoonful of extra sugar has a bigger impact. Every metabolic imbalance is harder to recover from. And when these little habits build up over weeks, months, or years, the result shows up in the form of physical limitations, chronic tiredness, muscle aches, and lost independence. If you want to age well, you need to understand that the little things matter. Maraschino cherries are one of those little things. They seem small, but the damage they cause is real. Instead of helping your body, they slow it down. Instead of nourishing you, they overload your system. And when that happens regularly, the result is chronic inflammation and declining vitality. If you enjoy cherries, there is a better option. Fresh cherries, real ones, unsweetened when they're in season. Fresh cherries are packed with anti-inflammatory compounds like anthocyanins, which help protect blood vessels, improve muscle oxygenation, and even relieve pain. Fresh cherries can be an ally for your health. Maraschino cherries, unfortunately, are more like poison disguised as a treat, so it might be time to rethink that jar of cherries in your pantry or fridge. What seems harmless might be slowly contributing to weaker muscles, a more fragile body, and a growing loss of independence. And at this stage in life, every food choice should be made with care, because maintaining muscle strength doesn't come from drastic changes. It comes from small, smart decisions made consistently. And cutting out foods like maraschino cherries is one of those smart choices that protect the most valuable thing you have: your ability to move freely, confidently, and with dignity. Now that you've seen how small food choices can silently weaken your muscles, I want to give you a special invitation. Have you ever imagined what your life could be like if you knew exactly what to do every day to keep your strength, energy, and independence for years to come? That's exactly why I put together a practical, straightforward, and complete guide: 30 Golden Habits to Live Well After 60. This ebook isn't just something to read. It's a simple action plan filled with daily habits that help protect your muscles, strengthen your body, sharpen your mind, and avoid the silent mistakes that speed up aging. If you found today's info helpful, this guide will be a real game changer in your daily routine. Click the link in the first pinned comment below. Get your copy now and start today building a life of strength, health, and freedom. Your future starts with the choices you make today. Everything you put on your plate has a direct impact on your body. And once you're over 60, that impact becomes even more noticeable because your body doesn't bounce back like it used to. Recovery takes longer. Inflammation is more common. And if you don't actively support your muscles, they slowly fade. Until one day, you really feel the loss. Today, you learned that some fruits that seem healthy can actually hold you back. They don't show their effects right away, but over time they create an internal environment that blocks nutrient absorption, disrupts muscle building, and fuels inflammation. And when that happens, you start feeling that unusual fatigue, the weakness in your legs, the struggle to get up with confidence, even the fear of falling. But none of that is inevitable. You can protect your strength. You can reverse the decline. You can live with more energy, stability, and confidence. But it starts with small, conscious decisions. Choosing fruit with its peel instead of one soaked in syrup. Cutting back on hidden sugars, even in so-called harmless desserts. Paying attention to how your body reacts. Those little actions add up and build what truly matters: your independence. And if you want to keep moving forward on this path, there's something else you need to know, as soon as possible. A lot of people are taking vitamins, thinking they're helping their bodies. But there are two common vitamins that are actually making seniors' legs even weaker, especially after the age of 60. This isn't hype. It's happening right now, every day, to people who genuinely wanted to take care of themselves, but were misled by bad information. Click now and watch the video. Seniors. These two vitamins are weakening your legs, especially if you're over 60. Find out what's really going on behind this surprising effect, and learn what you can do instead to strengthen your legs safely. Your legs are the foundation for your entire life, and it all starts there. Watch now.